Shadaka, everybody, Shadaka. All right, a question came to me. It came to me. It's like, would I prefer to take a real jazz bass, or would I prefer to take a PJ bass on a jazz gig? And it came to me. Nobody asked me. I just had to come to the conclusion of maybe I should answer that question on my own. And that's what I'm doing today. Here is my PJ bass. All right, it's a PJ. Of course, you know, it's custom. It's mine. It has a set of P pickups in it and a jazz pickup in the back. All right, and it's called a PJ. All right, basically, at first, this was a P bass. All right, we got that out of the way. So these are the old 1970s, 80s DiMaggios, all right? And I got a preamp in it. And the preamp I got in is a Tone Monster, which has volume, and then it has bass and treble stack, and then it has blend, all right? So basically the question it came to me. Dude, would you prefer to take a regular jazz, or would you prefer to take a PJ on a jazz gig? Well, everybody know I do jazz funk. All right, so I'm old school. See, this is me answering myself. I'm old school, so I love the way the P bass sounds, and then I love the way the jazz bass sounds. I just love Fenders, all right, and Music Mans. All right, so what will you do? So the question is, would you rather take the P or take the J? Well, it depends on what songs I'm doing, all right? Say if I'm doing say if I'm doing a Patrice Rushen, Forget Me Not, and it goes. So, could I do that with a jazz bass? Absolutely. Would it sound as much like that P bass would that Ready Freddie used? No. It'll come close, but it would be more focused. Now, say if I'm doing something like I jump into Earth, Wind, and Fire, all right? Now, to me, basically, I can get away with it. Because we all know during that time, Verdine was using a old 70s jazz bass. When he first started out, he was using the 51 P bass. But he went into the old 70s jazz bass. Did that bass sound, this bass would get away with it? Of course it will. Stuff like even Glide. You know, if we go into the old 70s stuff like Glide. I mean, not Glide, Slide. Okay, yeah, I can get away with that. My whole concept is this. If this bass feels good to me on any gig, I'll take it on any gig. I don't want to choose between my jazz bass and my P bass. I don't want to do that. I just want to play. That's all I want to do. I just want to play. But I want to be comfortable when I'm playing. All right? If I know my jazz bass weighs 11 pounds, and my P bass weighs 8.5 to 9 pounds, and I got a 4-hour gig, which one do you think I'm going to take? They both sound amazing. I'm going to take the one that ain't going to kill my shoulder the most, but gives me what I need when I ask for it. Okay? Would I take, and the question came to me again, would you prefer to take a passive P bass or a passive jazz bass? Listen, the way amps are nowadays, you can take this bass and get away with it. See that right there? That's like a $30, $40, $50 pawn shop bass. All right? Sounds amazing though. I'm telling you, that bass sounds amazing. With the amps we got nowadays, you can get away with mostly anything, folks. Anytime people can take a Squier and go to a gig and kill a gig on the Squier, you can pretty much use anything because the amps nowadays are so high tech. Back in the day, not so much. Alright? But back in the day, you probably could have got away with it because all you needed was bass. No trouble. Alright? So that's my question I asked myself today. That's the answer I got for myself today. Do you like your answer you got for yourself? Of course I do. I answered it. That's why I like it. Shadaka. Alright, so basically, I'm going to answer myself again. I don't mind, because I know with the P bass, I can get both worlds. Check this out. This is the front world. This is the real world. Both worlds. I mean, that's some pretty stuff right there. You know what I'm saying? The difference between a PJ bass and a jazz bass, the PJ has more of a high-endish kind of tweakish sound. All right, where the jazz would sound basically straight ahead in front of you, up in your face. Where the PJ bass kind of broadens the sound out. It gives it more of a rounded sound. You know what I'm saying? Listen. A jazz bass can't give that particular sound. The PJ bass gives you more of a acute sound. All right, I call it a cute sound. It still got the bottom. I think because of the P's in the front, it gives it a little bit more bottom. But the J in the back gives it more of takes some of the bottom out. It makes it pretty. All right. I'm not saying that a jazz bass doesn't sound pretty. I'm not saying that. Jazz bass sounds amazing. You know, but a jazz bass to me is more up in your face, where a PJ bass is more broad sounding. All right. Can you get more out of a P bass than a jazz? I don't want to answer that question, because to me, I can get just as much out of both. It's all about what I want to hear. All right. Once again, here's the P. Here's the J in the back of the P bass. All right. In a jazz bass, you get that same sound. Alright, and then if I go to P up in the front, okay, and if I go to both of them, I get that distinguished sound. I mean, it's like P and J together. That's just like two P's. Two P's would give you a little bit more distinguished sound than the PJ will. I like PP sound. PP. I like the way a PP sound. PP. What do you mean by PP? Two sets of P's. Like a P here and a set of P's right there. I love that sound. In fact, that's my next concept that I want to go to. I just like that sound because it has a very distinguished sound. It has its own voice. And my thing is about voice. What voice does that bass have that your other basses don't have? Basically, they all do the same thing. Sound like a bass. When it sounds like a guitar, it's no longer a bass. It's a guitar. So anyway. But that comes from the book of John E. Not the book of John. So I love this bass. I mean, why do I love this bass? Because it has its own voice. It does its own thing. Check it out. answer my own question. I like it when I answer my own question. Shalaka. Shauna Lee Long. Peace out.